Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today we're diving deep into the world of API design, specifically comparing gRPC and REST, and exploring the role of OpenAPI. It's a fascinating space, and there are some really interesting trade-offs to consider. Let's get started.
Absolutely. I've always found the choice between gRPC and REST a bit confusing. What's the core difference, in a nutshell?
Well, at their heart, they represent different architectural styles. REST is resource-oriented. You're interacting with data entities, resources, using standard HTTP methods like GET, POST, PUT, DELETE. gRPC, on the other hand, is procedure-oriented. It's all about remote procedure calls. Think of it like calling a function on a remote server.
So REST is more about the data, and gRPC is more about the actions? That makes sense. But the article mentions they both often use HTTP.
Exactly. That's where it gets interesting. While gRPC uses HTTP2 under the hood, it abstracts it away from the developer. You don't directly interact with HTTP verbs, you just define your procedures. REST, however, directly exposes the HTTP methods.
And OpenAPI? How does that fit into the picture?
OpenAPI is a specification language. It's a way to define your API, regardless of whether it's REST or RPC based. It's incredibly popular because it provides a standard way to describe your API, making it easier for clients to interact with it. Think of it as a contract between the server and the client.
So, OpenAPI can describe both REST and gRPC APIs?
Precisely. It's a language for defining the interface, not dictating the underlying architecture. The article highlights that OpenAPI often ends up looking a lot like RPC, even when used with RESTful APIs, because of how it uses URL path templates and parameters.
Interesting. So which one should you choose?
That's the million-dollar question. The article suggests that REST, while less common, offers simplicity and inherent entity orientation. It leverages the stability and universality of the web. However, it's not always the best fit.
Right, and the article emphasizes that true REST is actually quite rare. What about gRPC then?
gRPC shines when performance and efficiency are paramount. Because it uses a binary protocol and HTTP/2, it's often faster and more efficient than REST. It also simplifies development by abstracting away the HTTP details. But it does require specific client libraries, unlike REST, which can be accessed with basic HTTP tools.
So a trade-off between ease of use and performance? What about the downsides of gRPC mentioned in the article?
Yeah. One key downside is that gRPC requires specific client libraries, unlike REST. Also, things like proxying and handling concurrent updates are more complex with gRPC than with REST. REST has established mechanisms for these things, while gRPC often requires custom solutions.
I see. So it's a matter of choosing the right tool for the job, based on your specific needs and constraints. The article also mentions the importance of entity-oriented design, regardless of whether you choose REST or gRPC.
Absolutely. Organizing your API around entities rather than just procedures improves structure and maintainability. It's a best practice regardless of your chosen API style. It's a way to bring order to what can otherwise become a chaotic mess of procedures.
So to summarize, REST is simpler but might not be as performant, gRPC is faster but requires more specific tooling, and OpenAPI provides a standard way to define either. And the choice depends heavily on the project's needs and constraints.
Exactly. It's a nuanced decision, and the article does a great job of highlighting the trade-offs. Thanks for joining us on Tech Bytes and News. We hope this discussion has shed some light on the complexities of API design. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.